I think it's weird AF. Nothing adds up in this guitar. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Hello, Michał here. EB Register is a journey to document every Ibanez ever made. We've already have multiple episodes, so you can check them out after you finish watching this one, of course. I haven't done videos for a long time now. I had a bit of health issues. I still haven't recovered full. I have problems with my left arm, so I also haven't played guitar much, and that was one of the reasons I haven't done many videos, because talking about the guitars and not playing of them maybe doesn't make a lot of sense. But then on the other hand, you don't really come here for my crappy playing, right? You come for my nerdy Ibanez knowledge. So I figured, let's just do one without playing. I'm just gonna talk about guitars. And today's heroes is this LA custom shop designed RG6CS2. Very cool guitar. So let's dig into this. Custom shop design series. They're described as designed by LACS, LA Custom Shop, which is a place that only produces guitars for Ibanez artists and only chosen artists. Although recently you could buy some of those in the special round for the 15th anniversary of Hoshino operations in USA. Hoshino is a mother company that owns Ibanez brand. But generally those guitars are not available for mere mortals. You can sometimes buy them off the second-hand market for really high money, but you cannot just go to custom shop and order a guitar. So LACS Design series gives you this kind of feeling that you may be buying the LA Custom Shop guitar, but really not, because those are guitars made by Fuji and in Japan, which is not bad. I mean, Japanese Ibanez are the one of the best Ibanez guitars you can get. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not the custom shop guitars. CSDs are quite often described as built to most common artist configurations. But I slightly doubt that, because they're in very interesting configurations. We'll talk about the details in a moment. The Ibanez Wiki categorized them as J Customs, but I didn't find any other source confirming that. And also they don't have the J Custom serial number, which is usually stamped next to the Fujian serial number. So I doubt that. I would just call them the regular, prestige-like guitars. There were several models of CSDs produced in 2000, 2001 and 2002. In the first year of production of the series, we had RG6CSD1, tremolo, one humbucker configuration. I can imagine this could be pretty popular among artists. Another model produced in that year was RG7CSD1, which was a 7-string body RG. And this one had 2 humbuckers, but it has Gibson-like controls, so 2 volume, 2 tone knobs. This is super uncommon for Ibanez. You could maybe see that in some Icemans, but not in RG series. That's where the weird stuff started to happen. And the third year produced in that year was AX6CSD1. AX series, very popular in that area. Double cut type of guitar. There were very little AX models with tremolo, so it was pretty cool. And it has the low pitch, so very high quality tremolo. It also had Gibson configuration with toggle switch, also in the same area, like on top of the strings, different position than you usually see in Ibanez. The color on this one is also pretty cool. It's called Extreme Ocean, deep metallic but flat blue color. 2001 we had 3 another models. RG6CSD2, 6-string RG body guitar. This is the hero of today's episode, so we're gonna talk more about it later. And what's interesting about it, it's a baritone 27-inch neck. And the same story for RG7CSD2 from that year. Was a 7-string RG bodied guitar, also baritone neck, and it had a fixed bridge. And we also had the third model, which is a S-shaped body called S6CSD1, and it was also baritone and fixed bridge. I don't remember off the top of my head any other S-series baritone guitar. I don't think there was any, so that's super cool. In 2002 they made the RG7CSD3, regular scale, 7-string guitar with double humbuckers, fixed low pro edge bridge, but it was probably one of the more conventional out of the whole series. Alright, so after that short history lesson, let's focus on today's hero, the RG6CSD2. So as always, let's try to figure out the name of it, and the format they used during those CSD for those CSD series was like body shape, so RG, number of strings, so 6 in that case. Then it was CSD, and kind of like generation of those. So this is like the second generation of RG6 stringed. So RG6CSD2. This is Fujian serial number. So we have F01, 2001, and then 38583. So those 38,058.83, 5883rd guitar produced that year. So that was towards the end of the year, but counts as 2001. Let's go through the specs. It has the basswood body, pretty common for Ibanez, in candy apple red flat color. So candy apple red is traditionally this kind of red color with the sparkle particles in it. So it's very interesting because it is still like sparkly metallic, but it has this flat finish. It's really easy to polish them when you put your hands on. Usually this area is pretty polished, where you put your fingers sometimes below strings, etc. It's not that obvious like in other guitars that had like super flat finish, like that Apex 2. That was this kind of olive green flat, and any surface that you kind of polished was painfully obvious. So it was really hard to keep that guitar in like good condition. Here it's not so obvious, but still it's pretty visible. The guitar has also cream binding on the body. The neck is joint, the all-access neck joint, very common for Ibanez. It's a 5-piece neck, maple bobinga composite, with the headstock being separate piece of wood. Fretboard is rosewood, no binding on the fretboard, no fret markers on the front, they're only on the top with the small dots. There is this really hideous inlay on the 12th fret, basically like a piece of transparent plastic with a logo that all of them, the CSD have, but I don't know if it's the custom shop logo or something. The way this inlay is done, it just screams mass production. I believe it was just like a real custom shop job. It would be like inlaid very masterfully inside, but it's not. Yeah, we have 24 frets. Those are jumbo frets, the same kind of fret wire that's used on jam guitars. And this is baritone guitar. It has 27-inch XL neck, but it's also wizard neck, so it's like super thin, super long neck. Generally like XL neck, 27 inches are not super common for Ibanez, so a bit longer, gives you a better string stiffness for lower tunings. This one has 12 to 60 NYXL strings. It's tuned to standard B, super low action, or just, you know, low. You want to have like a bit of movement for those thick strings to give it a bit of vibration. We have a top lock 3 locking nuts because we have a floating tremolo, the low pro edge trem in this case. Top of the crop for Ibanez. The headstock is color match with the body, with white Ibanez logo and the XL logo. So most of XL necks will have that logo. Tuners are Goto, very common for Japanese Ibanez. Pickup rings are also metal, so every piece of hardware is in chrome. You can see on this guitar you get a bit of a pitting on the bridge. That's unfortunate, but that usually happens when somebody has a bit of more acidic sweat. It just eats into the hardware and start corroding it. The pickup configuration here are Seymour Duncan. Those are JB in the bridge and the 59 in the neck. This very classic blues hard rock pickup configuration that you would usually put into Les Paul. I'm not convinced it works very well in the like baritone guitars. Those pickups doesn't work so well with the lower registers, in my opinion. They get pretty muddy. And the wiring is also pretty interesting because those are 2 volume knobs, one for the neck pickup, one for the bridge pickup. If you, for example, take the neck pickup all the way down to 0 volume and put the bridge pickup all the way up, you can use that switch as a kill switch, basically flipping between pickup that's on and pickup that's off. In middle configuration you have both pickups, and you can use those volume knobs as a blend to kind of blend like 80% of the bridge pickup and like, I don't know, 40% of the neck pickup to kind of find a sound that works for you. And this configuration looks to be original. Looking at the solders and everything, it just looks like it's been done like that from factory, but maybe it's been modded and very well modded, and it's just very specific to this guitar. I'm not sure. You can also see that, like, you know, the neck pickup doesn't have Seymour Duncan logo, but it's the 59er as for specification. Standard 3 cavities common for Japanese RG bodies. So we have the tremolo cavity, that the cavity cover is gone. They tend to fly away because people keep those open to fine-tune the spring tension and so on all the time. We have the electronics bay cavity and also the jack cavity, because as most of Japanese bodies, it has the barrel jack. So because this guitar is a baritone, it doesn't feel too regular like MC100 or MC300 Ibanez case. Interestingly, it fit into the Prestige case because it's just like 2 centimeters longer, and it's just barely fits into this one. I think it's weird AF. Baritone guitar, which is usually used in kind of like a metal music or generally like heavy music, not always, but generally when they end up being. And we have this really like non-metal look with like a binding and candy apple red sparkly color. We have pickups that doesn't really hold the lower tunings very well, and they're not very high output. They're more like classic rock blues pickups. And it's just like nothing adds up in this guitar. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But in Ibanez culture, we're not afraid of modding guitars. That's what we do. And I think it's gonna be a great base for somebody to just mod the crap out of it. You know, you can use this super thin, long neck and that body to do something really cool. I don't plan to do anything with it. I'm gonna most likely sell it in this form as it is, and let the new owner decide what to do with it. I just wanted to document it. It's an interesting piece of history, but it's not something that's interesting for me, like for my collection or for me to play. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Check out some of the other videos I've made, for example the one about the Mike Mushik baritones, where we talk a bit more about like history of Ibanez and baritone guitars. You can also check the other videos on my profile and subscribe. We have quite a good catalog of videos already documenting different Ibanez guitars, and we're gonna make more of those videos. So see you next time, hopefully in 2 weeks if I manage to finally keep the schedule.